Hello, everyone. I know I'm just coming on at my 1:30, and Ann and Carol are still going. So if you want to stitch, hang with them for a while longer. And if you want to just do a quick page in your small art journal, that's what I'm going to do. I went ahead and started this with the taping off my area on my page, so I'll have a border. And then I use these Neo Color 2 water solubles, and I used the lightest blue color. I started by just scribbling and then using a wet paintbrush and spreading it around. And then I wet the paintbrush and flicked some color off to make the spots. So it looks like kind of a spotty background. And now we're just going to add some quick trees. And then add a quote to the middle. And I've pulled a quote out that says, "Autumn leaves don't fall, they fly. They take their time and wander on this, their only chance to soar." And that's by Delia Owens. So what I'm going to do is the first thing, I'm going to move my cup of water out of the way because I don't need that anymore. And I've got a brown Posca pen. And we're just going to make trunks of trees come up from the edges to the middle. So maybe just start here and then stop at the middle, kind of. And maybe put some little branches off a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to come over here and maybe do another one. We'll cover that. Just make a little stem come up and creak about here. And we'll come over here and make one here that comes up. And my plan is to not be on here too long. I'm kind of liking doing the shorter versions so people can just stop in and play along with me and then go do something else. I'm hearing a helicopter again, so if the glass starts shaking behind you on the windows, it's because there's a chopper going over. Just doing some little sticky stems. Hi, Pam. Hi, Esther. These don't have to really, be perfect or anything. It's just a little arty thing. We'll put a little tree here. A lot of the brown will get covered anyway when we add leaves. Boy, he's really shaking the house. We'll add a couple here to the middle. And I should have left more exposed in the middle. I used to get in trouble with my grandmother for taking pictures looking up in the sky. She'd always tell me, "You're wasting film." I wonder what she'd think of digital photography now. You can take all the pictures you want and delete the ones you don't now. But she'd like that because then I wouldn't be wasting film. All right, so now we're gonna put some paint out. And I got 3 Q-tips kind of stuck together. And we're just gonna do a variety of different colors. I've got spiced pumpkin. I have toasted terracotta, which I think is pretty solid in there. We might not be able to use that. And I think this is regular orange and yellow ochre. So we're just going to put a little glob of this down. See if we can get any out of here. See, it's not even shaking in here. So I don't think this is going to do. Nope, that is not going to do. Oh, no, wrong one. Just wanted to pick this up. I think I'm just going to throw this solid one away because it's just not combining. I need to go through all my paint like that and just pitch whatever. Whoa. Well, I got plenty of yellow. Hi, Brenda D. And what I'm thinking is I really need to spread this out a little bit. So, whoops. I'm liking having my art carts just to my right now. Oh. Callie, what are you doing? We're just going to maybe spread these down a little bit. So that I can like do. And then we just I really needed to make these more pulled apart and stuff, but I didn't think about that until I started adding them. It'll be all right. And I've got way too much paint out. Woo! Callie coming through, making a mess, as she does. Yeah, I should have pulled my Q-tips apart and made them different shapes. Maybe pull some of this off. And then maybe trim some of it off into the trash can. So we don't get perfect little circles. Let's see. Oh, well, we're going to call that good enough. I can always come in and, draw some shapes in once the paint dries. So let's get a piece of paper, which I think I have some up here. This is just paper. We'll just scrape this on here. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Linda. Whoops. Okay. Wow. Maybe I need another piece of paper. I'll set that down in my trash can. I got out way too much paint. Ugh. Let's see here. Covering up all my cool quotes I'd put on there. I'm just making a mess now. And ta-da, I made a mess. Callie's like, what are you doing? All right. And I'll slide that back in my bin of stuff. And I'll set these aside and I can cut leaves or something out of them later. That would be something I could do, is put some leaves, regular shaped leaves on there as well. Because I have a little leaf punch, or several different ones. I could just glue some of those to look like they're falling leaves. And then I was going to put this quote on here. Probably should dry this. I can put the author's name at the bottom real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a bit chilly down here too. We have not turned our heat on. We're trying very hard to put that off as long as possible, trying to get our power bill between the house being open last January, late December, early January, where they redid all the subfloors in the center of my house. It really messed up our, where they monitor your heating and cooling throughout the year, and then you get set to where you pay the same amount every month, budget billing. Well, that really messed us up. Plus, we've had the addition of the dehumidifier running under the house nearly constantly this last year. So I've told Scott, I said, we really need to try to keep the heat off as long as we possibly can. And we'll just add more blankets to the bed and wear a lot more clothes and dress in layers. So if somebody gets too cold, add more. If they get too hot, take something back off. I think we're all going to be fighting the heating monster this winter. Scott said he's heard on one report that we're going to have a mild winter. And then on the very next report says it's going to be one of the coldest we've ever seen, blah, blah, blah. So right now, I don't think anybody that has an education in any type of science is working in this country. I think they've all been fired or laid off. And stupidity reigns. That's just my own personal opinion. You may feel differently, and that is your prerogative. I have mine, and that's all we need to say about it. Okay, let's pull off the first part of this statement. I don't know why my hands are shaking so badly. Okay, crazy. Autumn leaves don't fall, they fly. We'll put that right there and hope that it stays stuck. They take their time and wander. Wonder if I could make this fit right about here. There is some wet paint that may, hinder it sticking, but we'll see. And then it says on their only chance to, and then soar is on a separate piece of paper. So if I pull this back, I had lunch earlier, so my blood sugar shouldn't be too low. I need to start cooking dinner. I'm going to do some chicken with dumplings tonight. And I'm going to make the rolled dumplings where you make the dumplings up real firm and you pat them out and cut them into rectangles. So there'll be dumplings like you would buy at Cracker Barrel, not drop dumplings that you put on top of a stew or whatever. When we first got married, I tried to do some stew with dumplings, and Scott didn't like it at all. It was one of those cases where I hope you never make that again type situation. But now he says he likes them. So, but I do think he prefers the kind that you roll out, and they got a different texture than the drop dumplings. To me, are kind of fluffy, and the rolled dumplings are more firm. So let's see. I do want to add, these labels are sticking to me like crazy. I do want to add a border with my black pen I got here in the drawer, just a bit. So what I do before I take my tape off, I just go along the edge, right up against the tape. And it's kind of wobbly, but that's okay. It's a border. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just go around. And Carol is got her group back going on Facebook. So Janet closed down the old group because she wasn't up to doing it. And so Carol's basically stepped back in on her group, but she calls it My Quiet Corner. So if you look for that on Facebook, you can get into Carol's group again. All right. So let's pull the tape off slowly so we don't pull the paper away. And it'll just give you this pretty little border in our little book here. I should have done a little ATC with some of that paint, but you know what? It's okay. That's probably my neighbor up the street. She's worried about this new cat that showed up by her. And I just can't rescue every cat that shows up in the neighborhood. I can't do it. I need to catch some of them that are here and try to find them homes because it's getting ridiculous. I'm going to outline my quote to make it pop. And that just makes, this is not sticking because there was some wet paint there. And then I can, over here, put October 29th, 2025. I thought it was funny that Carol's initials are Caw. Well, mine are Ram. So I thought it was funny that we both have something, initials that make up words. So there's my little page in this journal for today. And of course, it's not going to. And I guess my round leaves look okay with my Q-tip. I don't know how else to do that to make it not look round. Maybe it's looking through a blurred glass is why they look round or something. So we still have a bunch of pages in here. 1, 2. I think that's a single page. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this last one is a watercolor from the looks of it. And then this is mixed media, and this is mixed media. This is made up of different papers. So this was started last year, and we're trying to fill it up for this year. So if you guys made one of these little journals with me, that's what I'm working in. We made this last September. And see, I did the same trees here, but then I went back in and I put a little bit of highlights with white pen. That looks kind of cool. I could come back when this paint's nice and dry and add a little gold and white. That looks cool. I like how that turned out. So I need to maybe do that over here with the gold pen. I think I have one handy here. But I'll just flip through these while we're waiting on that paint to dry. These were fun to do last year. And I was following Ellen Crimmy Trent. She was doing little tiny watercolors, and she did some of fall leaves and trees and stuff. So that's how I learned to do that one. Let's see, Esther, I really like that little journal. What size are the pages? Let's see. And I did the slip knot binding. So this way they are 4.5. I think it's 4.5 by 4. No, 4.25. 4.5 by 4.25. So I made them a 1/4 inch, wider, so that I'd have a 1/4 inch here to make my holes. And I've done a variety of things. There's a mandala I did on just a small piece of black. I prefer doing something like this on a separate piece of paper. I think it's easier. And then just glue it in my journal, my little journals. And these were made with the bits and bobs pages. And this is something I did, and it started to fall off, the glittery stuff. So I just covered the whole pieces with, what's that stuff? Glossy accents. And that made it real shimmery. I love this. Take risks, be brave, make it happen. And then it's the protest sign says, the future is female. So I like that. Another one of those watercolors that I was enjoying doing last year. And some leaves. And this was just Happy Mail that Lucia had sent me. And I just stuck it in here. And this is where we started earlier this month with sunflowers and the bee. And then these pumpkins that we made. And then this was bits and bobs. And we did this pumpkin last Wednesday. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just get that gold pen, which I could have swore it was sitting right here. Give me just a sec, because I know I had a gold pen sitting right here if the cats have not taken off with it. That's the type of thing Tippy does. Tippy is bad. But I got my coupon for Ollie's. Good stuff, cheap. But you got to take it. Buy it today or it's gone tomorrow. What did I do with that gold pin? Here we go. Gold and white. Yep, utilities are nuts. And ours is just crazy. They made us make an adjustment last month, and it pushed our electric bill. I'm going to tell y'all, it's over $400. And I about fell out. So I'm doing everything I can. It's just crazy. Yeah, I don't doubt that either. It's all well and good for the companies and the rich people to get richer off the people that can barely afford to eat these days. I was telling Scott, we need to set our garden back up, whether we stay here forever or not. I should have never took my raised bed garden out, ever. But, you know, we were doing what we thought we needed to at the time because we didn't know that his job was going to evaporate again and we'd end up back down here. And yeah. So don't count on anything. As soon as you start counting on it, that's when it's pulled out from under you. It'd be nice if it was, you know, you could get a job and work your whole career at the same place. That don't happen anymore. In fact, if you try to stay longer than 3 years anywhere, they think you're stagnant. You got to be willing to change jobs about every 3 to 5 years, or you're just useless. Jeff Bezos says he burns people out on purpose because he wants fresh people all the time. He said that in an interview somewhere. And I was like, sure. And now they're laying off crazy amount of people. Them and UPS. UPS is laying off like 35,000 people. You guys, that's a lot of folks right at Christmas time to lose their job. I think they need to be paying attention to the reports coming in and not, you know, ignoring them or lying and saying they're not as bad as they are. People need to know so they can prepare. It's not fair. Of course, my grandmother would say, life's not fair. All right, I'm just going to put some kind of leafy shapes on some of these. Just a few here and there. Y'all ever seen the Monty Python where the leaves are falling off the tree and the first one goes, ah, and all the way down to the ground, and then all of a sudden the rest of them just go, ah. I love Monty Python. And I saw that Mrs. Faulty Towers passed away yesterday. So sad. They're all getting up there. I loved the interview I saw with John Cleese talking about, no, I don't do the Minister of Silly Walks anymore. I've had a double hip replacement. I'm not doing that nonsense. Let's see. I used to do that, lay on the ground and look up at trees up in New York. And I know we had ticks real bad up there, but down here you lay on the ground, you're liable to get covered in fire ants, which I don't know what's worse. All right, let's add a little, see if this will do. Just a few little white highlights up these trees. Just so it doesn't just look like brown stalks. So I can't believe another week is coming up on the end, and Scott starts teaching again, I think on the 4th. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. So, because he signed his contract for that course, and he's going to be teaching another lab where it's all labs, where the guys learn stuff in a lab environment. So he's going to be really tired because he has to stand on his feet and walk from one lab section to or table to another. So there we go. I think just adding a little bit of highlights with gold or white really makes something pop. So don't forget to add some just various different little lines. And you can add even more character to your edges by, just adding a little squiggle. So let's add a little squiggle up here. And maybe one down here where I went off the line. Makes it look like you did it on purpose then. So there we go. I did get in the stuff to fix the pumpkins on that first journal that we did together as a group. And I painted them. And I think it's going to fix them. So I need to do some research, and we need to start on our winter holiday journal for anybody that wants to do it with us. I'm thinking of doing it so it wraps up the end of the year, like USA Thanksgiving. We might do a page or two for Thanksgiving, and then maybe do several for the Christmas, just the holidays. I hadn't really thought about including Halloween because not too many people care for Halloween. But I was thinking we do another journal kind of like this one, and it's just made with pieces of recycled cardboard. So you could use a cereal box or tissue box or whatever you have, and we do the pages individually and then bind them together with the slip knot binding. I just really love that binding because then your pages, as you open it, they lay flat. And I really like that. And this journal was a lot of fun to make together as well. And this was 1, 2, 3, 4, just 5 pieces of old cardboard. But you can see where I've painted this, and I'm hoping that that will keep it from cracking anymore. You can see how that pumpkin all cracked up. And then I globbed some of the finish off on my letters, so I just went ahead and painted the letters too. And I kind of like how it, sealed that paint on there. So I want to do another, maybe we should call it a thankfulness journal, because it encompasses Thanksgiving, and then you can be thankful for the family and friends and whatever you gather with over the holidays. So I'm thinking of maybe just a thankfulness journal, and we would do a page at a time. So these are a lot of fun to do. We just did a page each week, maybe with a corner pocket where we could include a few things, maybe have a ATC swap, and we'd have the pocket that we have that we could put things in. This I never filled all the way up. I did that from a chart I found on Pinterest. Those chickens are so much fun to stitch. But I never filled this all the way up. There's a sticker I got from Anne. Just some little comments of things that we did in November that year. And this was some trees in the neighborhood. And I got to figure out how to get my little printer going again. For some reason, my phone is not wanting to communicate with it. And Anne recommended removing the app from my phone and reinstalling it. So I might do that because it keeps asking me to scan the barcode, and I don't have a barcode. But we had a lot of fun doing this one, so I think we'll do this. And this card, I think, was from Anne as well. Yep. And I just thought it was cool, and it belonged in here. So there's that. So we might do that for the holidays, and we'll start that in November. You've got the pages cut. I have to make a cover. All right. So if you guys want to do the little journal, and the covers on this one, on the little guy, I made with corrugated cardboard. It's thicker. See how it's thicker than my pages? The pages were all made with a variety of different papers. So there's like watercolor paper, mixed media paper, drawing paper. It's like offcuts from other projects. I just made them into a journal. All right. So we'll plan to do, and I like this size. So let me tell you what the size is for the thankfulness journal. They're going to be 5 by, I bet 7. 5 by 7. Yep. All right. I'm going to let you guys go now, and because I need to get my dinner started, because I got to cook the chicken separate from everything else. So I will say goodbye, and I'll see some of you in the morning for day 30 of October. I'm going to go watch Janet Nash now. I just see that popped up. Bye.